Let's turn our attention back now, if we can, to the Zondo Commission of Inquiry, where former NPA boss Mxolisi Nxasana says axed officials Lawrence Mkhwebe and Nomqobo Jiba plotted to have him kicked out of the agency. He claims that Jiba, who was acting in the role at the time, wanted the job for herself. Jiba and Mkhwebe have been fired, or since been fired, after an inquiry found them unfit to hold office. So, what's happening? Well, Nxasana is back at the state capture inquiry today to testify ostensibly about political and external interference at the National Prosecuting Authority. It really is a can of worms, isn't it? Joining us live from the inquiry, reporter Michael Apple. Michael, the former NDPP, saying that he tried everything to get a meeting with the former President Jacob Zuma after their relationship soured. Why did that relationship deteriorate then? Maybe that's a good starting point.
So it's his evidence that there was a campaign of misinformation aimed at sort of peddling lies that would paint Nxasana in a poor light in front of the president. Lies like Nxasana was trying to get his hands on the former president, then President Jacob Zuma's case docket for fraud and corruption, possibly looking to reinstitute charges, that he'd been meeting with the former NDPP Bulelani Ngcuka, somebody who Jacob Zuma said to hate. So all of this, he says, was a campaign aimed at not only removing him from office, but making sure that he wasn't appointed in the first place. So he says that, and we've been trying to listen to the audio of an audio recording that was made by an NPA official. It made its way through to Nxasana, where it's claimed that Jiba said she tasked somebody in the Hawks to find dirt on Nxasana, and he says eventually to try and restore the relationship with the then president, that he had asked for several meetings, and this is the lengths that he was willing to go to despite the suspicion from the president. Listen in.
I remember at one point that when he was reluctant to meet with me, I said to one of the persons that was close to him that he must not worry, because he was told that the information that I was given is that I would come there wired and I would be
to record him. And yeah. I even joked and said to that person, go and tell him that I don't mind meeting him naked, because I won't have wires with me.
Well, patently that didn't happen. Now, Nxasana's relationship then with Jiba, Michael, and others eventually led to a commission of inquiry into his fitness to hold office. I'm assuming, fully clothed, he has referred to that.
Yes, fully clothed, thankfully. So the adverse court findings against Jiba, Mkhwebe, and Nzinyati. He says he goes and gets legal counsel. A decision is made that he's going to approach the president, because it's only the president that has the prerogative and the power to hire and fire these individuals. He writes a memorandum recommending that disciplinary proceedings be instituted against him. Nothing happens. Then eventually he meets the then Justice Minister, Jeff Radebe, at a meeting in 2014 somewhere. We'll get the timeline at Emperor's Palace. Listening to what he's told there.
Did you at some stage simply request him to intervene, and that request being separate from requesting him to consider suspending Ms. Jiba and Mr. Mkhwebe and instituting disciplinary proceedings against them? Could those have been separate and different requests at different times?
It was at different times, Chair.
Yeah.
The meeting at Emperor's Palace, I think it was a workshop organized by I think it dealt with corruption. It was organized by NPA. I cannot remember which unit. I attended that meeting, and Minister Masuta was also present at that meeting. But what he was confirming to me is that after I had submitted to him the memorandum and everything, the file wherein I had asked the president to consider taking disciplinary action against Advocates Jiba Mkhwebi and Mzinyati. That was his response on that day, that the president has finally agreed to intervene and was considering my taking action against the advocates.